each other as long as you're with me.
Welcome back to Sheen Au Natural. I'm your host, Old Sheen, and I'm here with our pal, Whiskey Boy. Now, if you've been watching the show, you know a running theme is conservation. We like to recycle, reuse wherever we can. We as humans have to change our environmental habits. I believe that the world is not going to sustain any more of this abuse that we've been doing. And it's not even our fault, it's just what we've learned. We've learned to be consumers and we've learned to waste. But through education and spending time on the land and doing things like we do here at Sheen Au Natural, I think people can make a difference. We just got to start working at it. We got to try harder. And if we don't, we're not headed in a good direction. So I know that there's been a couple of tires unfortunately dumped on this trail. So today we're going to try and find those and implement them into our camp. So come join us. So the idea behind retrieving these tires is I know I can use them as building material. So namely, I'm going to use them in a retaining wall that's going to hold in some of that biochar that I created. And I know they're around this area somewhere, and actually here they are right here. Whiskey, come help me. Good job, boy. So this is, unfortunately, one of my neighbors here abandoned some tires into the wild. And I can use these, so I'm going to take them. There's one here and a few more over there. Oh, Whiskey, get the drink. Attaboy, Whiskey. I'm back at the hillside garden, and I've brought in my tires and I've placed them where I would like to build my retaining wall. So the idea with this is I want to fill the tires with gravel and sand, rocks and other materials. And what this does is it takes the space that's inside the tire and it becomes solid. And you can reinforce this later by pounding it in with a sledgehammer. Really makes it rigid and it'll be a good wall. Now I put the wall here because I want to develop a patch of soil. As I mentioned, this is where we did the biochar. So this charred material plus the soil, and I'm going to add compost. Matter of fact, I brought some stuff to compost today. I brought in some old jack-o'-lanterns from Halloween. So with all compost, all you got to do is let the stuff rot, and eventually it turns into a nice, beautiful black soil, rich with all the nutrients that you need to have a nice, prosperous garden. The land is special to me because it goes back a couple of generations. I basically took it over from my father. I share it with my sister, and the two of us, we often camp there. So it holds a special bond. I've been there on that land enjoying nature right in that spot since I was very small. For me, it's just like home. I guess my love of nature goes back almost as long as I've known that land. It's my favorite place to be. I spent many a time out there with my father. We were chopping wood or fishing in the river and just enjoying the campfire at the camp. So my love of nature stems right back to that property. It all started there. Well, whiskey's my best friend, and whenever I go in nature, he goes into nature, so I couldn't do this without him. So each week that I finish a carton of milk, what I do is I like to hang on to the carton, and this will give me the ability later. I wash these out, of course, and then later on what I'll do is I'll use these to help me in the aid of transplanting. So I'll dig something up, I'll put it in here, and that'll allow me to bring it somewhere else. So I always save this kind of stuff. It's trash, but it's good to recycle this stuff. So another thing I hoard are coffee grounds. Every morning after I brew a pot of coffee, I save the grounds and I keep them separate from compost. They go great in compost, but the reason why I separate them and keep them like this is because you can actually use these to deter weed growth in your garden. So I'll put in a row of plants and I'll sprinkle coffee in between, and it's a good way to reuse something that was just going to go in the trash. Another thing I tend to hoard over the winter are these eggshells. So every time I have eggs for breakfast, I save the shells. Now I could just put these right in the compost, but like the coffee, I like to separate them. And the reason why is because if you crunch these up at the base of your plants, the coarse shells will deter snails and slugs from climbing on your plants. So it's good pest control. So I got the coffee for weed control, I got the calcium-enriched eggshells for pest control. So all of this stuff would have ended up in a landfill. Now I've found another use for them, and that's what we want to see here at Sheen Au Naturel. Reuse, recycle, get out there and put this stuff to use because it'll only better the environment. I have a hard time with the waste we create as humans because it's just gone overboard, and unfortunately, you know, things that were okay for your grandparents aren't okay anymore. We're wasting at this point. Every day you see people throw away things that are perfectly handy. And if you look around my workshop, this place is full of them. It's important to show that we can use trash basically and create structures with it and use it to improve life. Well, I feel compelled to recycle and reuse as much as possible because that's what I want to promote. I would like to see everybody do the same sort of thing. This episode deals with recycling, and I think that the viewers would take away the knowledge that these things are here, we can still use them instead of just tossing them. And I believe that this is going to open people's minds to more creative means. Materials are out there that can be reused. We're going to find more ingenuity in people, and they're going to come up with creative ways to use that stuff, all for the better of our environment. And so ends another great day out here on the land. We were able to put in a retaining wall, and hopefully I've shared some knowledge regarding recycling and reusing. So now we're going to settle in for another cookout on the campfire. Today it's grilled cheese a la Sheen. So join us back next time. And remember, until then, old Sheen gonna miss ya.
As long as you're with me, you and me, we both believe. Let's build a life, live for our dreams, so we can start all over, so we can learn from each other. As long as you're with me.